your hosts, Jimmy Lewis and Logan Tyler.
Who's Logan? Who's Logan?
I don't know.
So
I know a Tyler.
This is Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. This is the show where we talk about motorcycle and motorcycle-related products. I'm Jimmy Lewis, and this is Logan. No, Matt.
Matt Mattoon, who is trying to improve the show.
Right. What technical difficulty are we going to start with tonight?
Well, we're trying some different settings out because I don't really like how the stream looks once it's recorded and stays on YouTube. So I'm trying some different encoder and bitrate settings to see if we can fully optimize this.
This is what everybody wants to know. So if you're doing a podcast, if you're working on a podcast on the side, really all it takes is a phone, and then you just get like something that looks like a microphone and you talk into it, but you're really just doing everything through the phone. So do that, and then you can say you have a podcast. But luckily, this is 160 shows?
Yeah, this is 160.
Yeah, I've done this 160 times. So you think I know better to thank our sponsors. Of course, I'd like to thank Yamaha, Taco Moto, Scott Sports, Climb, DDC Sprockets, Trail Tech, Fasst Company, Seat Concepts, and Bulletproof Designs. If you want to call into this show, if you have a question that you really need to explain or it's hard to type, like this is what typing sounds like, by the way. Yeah, that's Matt typing on the show. He's trying to fix something. We have the Seat Concepts Hot Seat Hotline. The number is 775-318-5515. We will be nicer than usual to the callers.
Nicer than usual.
Nicer than usual. So, Dirt Bike Lanny 6 says, I have a 125. And this is coming through on our Dirt Bike Test Instagram account. That's good, Lanny. I have a 125 too. In fact, I have a Yamaha YZ 125. And did we get the new reeds?
Did not get new reeds. I reached out today about that, actually.
Well, then that's why I'm going to have to make up some more Yamaha content. I think we should talk about the 23 Yamaha YZ450 that Trevor is riding today.
Mm-hmm. Or has ridden today.
He rode it. Yeah. I actually got a video of Scott Hoffman just completely casing a double jump, just smashing it.
Oh, really?
And why? What are you waving at?
I'm trying some different frame rate settings, too.
Okay, right, like during the show.
Yeah, well, this is stuff that I can't really test until we're live.
Okay.
You know, well, I've done a lot of research. I've been making sure.
There's a delay over there, though, right?
Yeah. So, like, I've tried different. I'm trying a different frame rate setting, which is going to allow us to. And I'm also trying different encoder settings and
so we
high
can
bitrate.
knock the show into slow motion.
Well, just get it to look generally better. Mm-hmm. Like we've been working on the lighting. So
right,
and trying to work on this now.
Okay. So at some point I'm going to call Trevor. You know what I wanted to do, because our last show was a blowout. Hey, if you want to, if this show's too slow for you already, just go to show 159, and then if it is the best show ever, let us know, because I have to give the analytics back to one very concerned person who's really checking to make sure. Whoa, I have to read all this about how good the show was, the last show?
I mean, I'll read it.
Okay. Got it.
I was passing on our good comments to Jerry.
Okay. So if you were wondering, this show we talk about motorcycle-related products. We answer your questions. We try to solve your issues. Usually we have answers. We know a little bit. It's worth what you pay for it. I've been doing.
You've been around the block for.
I've been doing this for a long time. And Mark Daniel says, "Whoopee, it's TTT." He throws the extra T in there because he's also having tacos and tequila. Yeah. What do we think about the TTRs? So I actually. I have a TTR 125 as well, which I use on the flat track quite a bit. I got it set up for enduro. I got hand guards and stuff on it. I like them. I like it way better than the Honda ones because they had electric start way before. So better than the CRF 100, XR 100, XR 80. Yeah, it's a high revving bike. The XR is more torquey. The TTR, you got to rev it a little bit. So yeah, nice. Dirt Bike Lanny 6. Man, I should talk more TTR stuff here, but ask the specific questions, get a specific answer. Let's go straight to the questions. And you have our Rooster Endos ready to go.
Rooster Endos, they're pretty much ready to go. All I have to do is click some buttons.
Okay, we're gonna drop those things in as soon as possible, or in a different order than usual.
Whenever you're ready, you just let me know.
This is it's the way I like it to be. What's our first question?
This is from Bill O'Neill. Would there be any benefit? Hold on, let me get rid of that. Okay. Would there be any benefit going from a 110 100 18 to a 100 100? I'm assuming that's supposed to be 18 on my 125 XC other than weight. 40C rider.
What just sounded like we turned to somebody vacuuming in the show?
No, that is the
processor trying to fry on our mainframe or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it coming through?
Oh yeah, I can hear it. That's what we do here at the show. I'm going to try to turn my mic away from the vacuum cleaner. Professional show.
Very professional. We'll
So Bill O'Neill, Bill, who obviously has fat fingers, and I'm just saying that because there was some typos in the important part of this question is tire sizes. And so I'm determined between a 110 10 18 and a 100 100 28.
Yeah, so that's why you saw me stumble there.
I know. I'm not sure where you're getting the 28-inch rim, but I'm just going to guess that fat finger hit the 2 instead of the 1. So it's a 110 118, or it's a 100 100 18 and a 110 100 18. So there's really so the 100 100 is smaller by just a little bit. And other than weight, no, they're gonna, those tires are gonna weigh so much the same, I think. But I used to run the bigger tires on my 125 because I like the traction that I got with them, and most of the time my 125s had more power than everybody else's 125. And so it didn't affect it that way. I would rather have the traction. And we were also desert racing, which meant you were also going fast, and that inertia of that wheel and stuff, once you got it going, it was kind of an advantage. So I've always been a fan of the slightly bigger tires on the bikes. And on most of my bikes, I run the larger size tires. Like, in fact, on my 350, I run a 120 80. Oh, no. I always get screwed up with the tire size. 120. 120 100, 110 100. His typos have just wrecked my brain. Sorry. So anyways, I run the 120 on the 350 where most people run the 110. So benefit, you can get more traction, but if your bike feels sluggish, don't do it, because that extra traction is going to make it more sluggish. The extra weight, the extra, it's more traction than the weight, really, is what I would consider the problem. So if it's sluggish, don't do it. If you feel like it's got power and it's doing everything for you, try it. It's just a tire. You can change it, and then you can take it right back off and sell it to somebody who has a 150.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the answer.
Oh, we got a pump. I had hidden the counter.
Oh, well, no. You're just going to blow the whole show up by trying to put extra features into it that we don't need anymore, because I hardly ever say unless I'm thinking and I'm trying to give the correct answer. Right. I had 2 already?
Yeah.
Okay. So...
But trust me, the trials and tribulations
actually, there's
of the first
somebody...
10 minutes
there's
of the show
somebody
are gonna be worth it.
I just saw that popped up on our Instagram. Unfortunately, he's on Instagram, and they're kind of like down here on the scale things. They're instantly there. He would know everything about tire sizes, and he probably is way more qualified to answer that than I am. And it's Randy from Michelin.
Oh,
popped in there,
Mr. FMIP.
Yeah, so that's the kind of questions we answer. We usually like to have experts here, but I just make it up, and then hopefully somebody helps me out with that.
Yeah. Okay, so we actually have a. Let's see. Oh, Carl just put a deposit on a 23-300 XC.
So what's the topic of choice today? And how does it have to? Well, you're bragging, Carl. That's really nice. I wish I had that kind of coin to just get one of those. Those are going to be really good bikes.
Yeah,
they're really good.
I forgot the XC line. They're also getting the fuel injection.
They're getting
or the TBI.
TBI, yeah. So it's instead of TPI transfer port injection, it's what does TBI stand for, anyways? Throttle body. TB throttle body. Because there's two of them still. There's one in front and one in front and one in back. I don't know. I just rode the damn things. I didn't ride the XC. I rode the SXs, and it was good. Mm-hmm. People are going to be really happy with those. It's funny how all the people that complained about I can't wait for the complaining to start on those. Mm-hmm. But all the people that were complaining about, they like, see all this stuff that we complain about, KTM fixed it. It's like, no, I think they just made it different. So, should I call in before the Rooster Endo? Asks George. George, you can call in any time. Is that COVID, Matt?
No, your cat wandered in here earlier though.
Oh,
yeah.
And that's what you're disgracing my cat by sneezing.
Well, I did notice that she was in here, not because I saw her first, but because my eyes were starting to get itchy. I'm like, oh. And then I saw movement out of the corner of my eye.
Yeah, she knows. She's trying to get rid of the people she doesn't like. George, call in sooner rather than later. I think George actually has to coordinate a call. Like he's got a friend or something that's. I heard it's like a guy has I'm going to go racing and what do I need to do question. Mm-hmm. I think we've answered those before, but we can always do that. Carl says he's stuck at the firehouse. What am I drinking? Well, this is I don't know what it is. It's just a Jimmy Juice. But for later, I got a Peebs. I'm back on the team. Okay, Matt. What's our next comment?
Next question. All right. So this is from Chipper 442. Best episode yet, Jimmy. Thanks for getting the Prez, GB, and Gene on. You need to try and get them back. C442, Falk Racing for life. Blood in, blood out.
Yeah, Chip kind of runs the United States version of the Falk U racing brigade. So. Yeah, Chip, it was a good episode. I really liked it because I just got to sit back and relax. I didn't have to do nearly as much.
Well, I was back in my producer chair. I wasn't in front of the camera.
Yeah, Jerry kind of he knows how to be a host. That's for sure.
Oh well, speaking of George calling in,
okay,
he just called in. Let's see. All right, George, you should be on.
You there, Justin? Yeah.
Oh, we got.
Am I here?
Yeah, you're here. You're live on Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. This is the show where we talk about motorcycle and motorcycle-related products. George, how can we help you? See, I'm trying to be nice.
Well, my buddy Justin up in Eureka, Montana, had to go outside away from his computer because his phone doesn't work. So he's out in freezing cold weather, and he has some questions for you. He's a 40-something-year-old, like, B-class rider up here, and he's going to all his dream tracks down there, mainly Glen Helen, to do a race in a month.
Oh, is that World
2 weeks?
Yeah, I think was that where you're going down to, the World Vets?
Yep.
Doing a motocross vacation in Southern California.
Yeah, first time for me.
Well, I don't
never.
We talk these tracks up like there's something really special, and what was special is the quantity of tracks that we had. But let me tell you, just like anything, these practice tracks can be weather dependent, they can be prep dependent, and they can just lots of things. You could go to Glen Helen, and it could be the perfect day, and a guy with a quad will show up and just wreck the whole track. Some really fast quad racer guy. So. I'm just going to tell you, don't get your hopes up too high. That's the first thing. They're just practice tracks, but they're prepped and watered or sometimes watered. But yeah. So what are the questions?
Oh, I was just wondering if you had any good advice, maybe like some tire setup, gearing setup, because that's kind of a whole nother world from where I'm at.
So the good thing is that a lot of the manufacturers do a lot of their bike development at Glen Helen. So stock bikes tend to work really good there for regular riders. Now, all of the magazines would try to say something different because they all try to be better than the manufacturers. But then again, it's one person riding a bike that, 20 or 30 other people, collectively, it's they got to make a bike to work for everybody. But generally, stock gearing, even at Glen Helen, I rarely find myself wanting to change. What bike are you on, by the way?
2008 YZ450 and 2007 250.
Oh, so not exactly the most current brand new bikes. I'm going to go back in my memory banks. So Yamaha does more development out of Glen Helen than any other manufacturer, I think. They do a fair amount. But they used to do this back then. They used to do it at another track. I don't remember wanting to change the gearing on those. 2008. That's the old one where the engine's still the
still the right way.
Well, we don't call it the right way anymore, right?
No, we wouldn't call it the regular.
The old
conventional.
The conventional way. Yeah. So it's a conventional way motor. He might have just frozen to death.
Yeah. So
go ahead.
We can still hear you.
I think I got coyotes chasing my dog.
Oh, yeah. See, that's the kind of stuff that happens on this show all the time.
Just don't panic if you hear gunfire, Jimmy.
So, I know that when I was looking at bikes, I did read your opinion of the 08 450, and you said you liked it.
I think he's hopping into his truck right now because he froze to death.
Well, I think he's probably going to chase off those coyotes.
Yeah. Oh, he's reaching for the gun right now.
I got to go chase some coyotes.
Let the dog harden up,
Hey, who's that Brian guy that might know Jimmy?
Brian Love. Flying Brian. He's from down there.
Yeah, not.
He's an older guy. He's like Nate's age. Does that sound familiar, Jimmy?
He's 72.
Kind of like that naked dude that you met at the hot springs that said he knew me, George. That guy?
No,
it's different.
That name. He's like a District 36 guy or something.
Yeah,
that moved up to Montana.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have a hard time remembering all this stuff. So okay.
So what's the fast parts of that track? Where do you make up time? What's going to be problematic? What do you think?
Where do you make up time? Brakes.
I mean, I just
Downhills,
freaked
right?
out on those downhills. I didn't like that at all.
Yeah, on the brakes. You make up all your time on the brakes. That's I have this school where I teach this kind of stuff. Although we teach it in such a basic level, people that like race, they think, I don't need that. And then when I ask them to do this really basic thing, just to show me that they understand how to control the motorcycle, with the front brake and the rear brake, etc., they can't do it. So it's stuff, but it's stuff that you have to practice. You're not going to go down there and all of a sudden learn something new. But it depends on the tracks you ride on. I mean, Glen Helen has some hills. I mean, it really does, and they get pretty rough. And depending on how they prep it, they can get really rutted. And then everybody tends to ride in the same rut that's wider than all the other ruts. And if you know how to go into the rut that isn't that wide, you can go a lot faster because there's less bumps, things like this. Found Glen Helen. Actually, Glen Helen's really easy to pass on, too. That's the other cool thing about it, because all you have to do is stay off the brakes.
Yeah.
Just stay off the brakes. But yeah, Glen Helen specifically, brakes are huge. But if you go down there, go to Paris Raceway if you have a chance. That's a fun track. Cahuilla Raceway is also a fun track. I would avoid Lake Elsinore if that's.
Well, the vet track at Lake Elsinore isn't bad, but it's pretty hard packed.
The whole place is hard packed.
Pretty hard.
Yeah, that place. The place.
I felt like Lake Elsinore was a lot more than the 2 times I've been to Glen Helen. The one time at the Lake Elsinore vet track was like almost concrete.
Okay, but was it better than Glen Helen?
No, not even close.
No. Paula's kind of a hit or miss for me. Not really. It's you can take it or leave it. I don't like it for testing bikes for sure. It just nothing shows up there. It's just a bunch of racers just pounding laps trying to go in a million. They all end up on the same line and yeah. So
I can tell you about the vet track there too.
Yeah, the vet track there's kind of.
What were some of those other tracks you wanted to see while you were out there?
Paula, the famous one.
The famous ones. Yeah, go to Paris.
Oh,
Paris has the most history. That's good, but Paris. I'm trying to think of in the. He is real prep dependent, but generally it's pretty good. During the middle of the summer, it's hard to get water into that place, but yeah, there's the ones I used to like, Racetown, which is up in the high desert, and that one's gone. That was a really good track. It was really good for testing too. So, but yeah, well, hopefully that answered at least some of your questions. Any other ones?
No, I don't think I do.
That was it. Okay. Well, yeah, just trust George. I've told him everything that's important in he just puts his little spin on it, and then you don't know whether it's really that information's that valid. Practice your starts. That never hurts. I mean, it's the best way to beat most of the guys. And then whatever you do, just sandbag. That's the way Glen Helen works, especially if you're coming from Montana. Drop a class because everybody else does, and unless you smoke everybody, it's not a problem.
Oh, well, I actually screwed up and I jumped up a class. So,
oh boy.
Well, you might get a longer race for it. So, yeah. You'll find that the novice class may actually be faster than the intermediate class because everybody that was in intermediate bumped down to win that trophy, and so you might have been doing yourself a favor. I'm not really sure. So
okay, yeah, because I signed up in the intermediate. So,
well, cool. Okay, well, thanks for calling in.
Okay, see you, Jimmy. Hey, Carrie's going to drive the truck.
Oh, okay, got a truck driver for the school this weekend. That's good. We will
see you this weekend.
Okay, well, we'll keep in touch. Thanks, guys. Okay, Todd Kelly has a question.
Too many grinder hookups. No. That's TW Hicks. So the guys at Todd Kelly's saying the guys at Straight Rhythm riding the KTMs were saying the EFI wasn't quite there yet.
Really?
Because
I didn't hear that, but I don't know. Where did they say that? Did they? I haven't watched the broadcast. I watched the broadcast, and I heard somebody say that. I heard someone. I heard one of the announcers say something like, "Oh, he's still on the carbed bike," and I get it. I'm pretty sure that even in the 4-stroke days, they could always get more power out of a carburetor than they could the fuel-injected bike. Like net, they were able to get more peak power, and sometimes that's what these racers want to hear. But the other thing that they're used to is having the snap that the delay a carburetor provides gives. So in other words, when you on a fuel-injected bike, when you come back on the throttle, even if you come back on it hard, it doesn't really snap like a carbureted bike does. Because when you come back on the carbureted bike, it's not, the jetting isn't that perfect. Are you going to be able to get that sound out in the post of the show, do you think?
I probably get a good chunk of it out, but it's funny. The PC, it's doing this. It's doing this. I'm going to lower some of my...
We should move it to someplace else or put a sound barrier in front of it. Put some of that sound foam in front of it. Again, when you have your podcast with just your phone, I'm gonna hang up on the Instagrams, by the way, because I'm pretty sure we got to get Trevor in.
Okay.
Don't let your computer with a fan. Don't put it next to computer with the fan.
Yeah.
So okay. Well, we'll see you. You're going to have to tune into one of the live sections on Facebook or YouTube, or you can watch this on Facebook or YouTube because we put the finished videos up there. And then you can see the answer to what the question, the new segment, break the embargo. So we will catch you later. How do I turn this off? There we go. And now, okay, that was a horrible one. I'm not even going to save it.
Are we going to bring? We're going to bring Trevor on, or
we're going to try to call him right now.
Okay. Do we want to just?
Yeah. Can you put that? Can you give me that plug for that?
I can give you this plug
for that thing there. And see if I can figure out. So Trevor is currently riding the 2023 Yamaha YZ450F. Hey, while we're talking about this, you know, there's Stark Varg news.
No, I did not hear the Stark Varg news.
Yeah, it's delayed. Imagine that. I mean, who in the world would have thought that they would be delayed? Did anybody think of that? Did anybody say that was probably going to be an issue?
My understanding is just about every journalist in the industry thought it was going to get delayed.
Really?
I felt like a lot of people didn't see. A lot of people had a hard time believing that they were going to meet the quotas that they said they would. At least from the
most of those guys were just playing the company line, and they didn't say anything bad about it. You go back and look.
Oh, I'm talking about on podcasts and stuff. No,
on podcasts.
No, not the video reviews. No.
Yeah. Who has a podcast? Which journalist has a podcast?
A few. There's a few out there.
Which ones?
Ones that are within 100 miles of us.
Okay, we're calling. The Pulp Show.
Yeah, Pulp and JT.
But did they? I never heard them actually say they thought it was going to be delayed. I heard JT question the business model of the whole thing.
I heard in a podcast he was questioning how they were going to get all those parts.
Oh,
just with how many, with how they're going to put orders in and everything.
I think Trevor's drunk. He's not answering his phone.
Yeah.
First time for everything.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system.
Yeah.
Todd Kelly saying Dawn at Swap Moto as well.
Really? Yeah, I didn't listen to his. So Stark will have a bike. It's really easy to have one. It's really easy to have five. But
to have hundreds?
how many thousands of orders did they claim they took like that first week? It was ridiculous. And I know a lot of people that put money on it. And they all they got a little note said you're going to be getting a toolkit that came with like a sponge and a Allen wrench because that's the only tools you need to work on it.
So while we wait for Trevor, Finn825 advice on pivot turning for an intermediate rider on a WR250F.
Yeah, first learn how to wheel loft, which is a very delicate, timing intensive skill. So once you learn to do that, and you can do that 10 out of 10 times. And so the way to figure out if you can do that is park yourself about 1 foot away from a wall and make sure your wheel comes up off the ground and goes back on the ground before you hit the wall. Simple enough, right? So when you have that technique down, then come back next week or in 2 months when you practice it enough to get that technique down, and then we'll go over the next steps that you need. Or you can just watch one of the many videos on YouTube that will show you how to pivot turn that won't explain to you the 4 very critical things you need to do to be able to do the wheel loft. And that's going to be the downfall of anything else you do the entire time when you're trying to attempt a pivot turn. They just Reddit Paris track, so it's badass now. So Reddit is that thing that you you get all the information on the internet's on. You
No, he
Reddit
put
something? Redid.
Yeah.
Reddit.
No, Reddit. Yeah. That's a whole other can of worms.
Okay, he spelled redid right, but he spelled Paris wrong. So I just transposed his misspellings and made it up my own.
I think he's just really excited.
That's good.
Did you see the video of the guy who tried to backflip at Paris?
No, on purpose?
Yeah. There was like...
He tried to do a backflip off a jump. He tried to Travis Pastrana something.
Yeah, I think it was like one of the bigger tables out there, and he said, yeah, I think it's flippable. And he went out there, and it did not go well.
No. There's somebody, a new YouTube star every day.
Yep. All right, Facebook user.
The Barcelona factory is impressive. Yeah, but having an impressive factory and actually producing motorcycles that have suspension components that come from different companies that have very impressive factories that turn out a lot of stuff that need orders put in many, many years in advance. You know, and I don't know how much they're building in their factory. I think like most motorcycle manufacturers, a lot of the stuff is outsourced to other companies that make certain things, and then they assemble at the factory. You can have an awesome assembly line. Getting the parts from the suppliers for something brand new is generally going to be a struggle. And I saw that right when they announced. I'm like, wow, where are they getting all this stuff? And right away when they started naming suspension companies, I'm like, oh, that's going to be tough. So, you know, if they would have said like 3 years, I would have thought that. I'm really interested to see when this Triumph breaks, because it's getting close. They're getting to the point where they're about ready to show us something, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And that's a whole nother thing. You know,
that I'm actually really excited to see what they come out with.
Yeah, like what suspension's on that, and then did that put a load on the suspension
right
market, the OEM supplier suspension market? These are things that you just don't think about. It's like, oh yeah, anybody can make a motorcycle, but then, you know, going and doing it. What? Oh, where's the extra noise coming from?
It's a Voicematron.
You had the Voicematron on my feet the entire time. Wait, this microphone was in use last week. I'm turning it off.
Yeah.
New to show, Jimmy's foot microphone. I heard that like 3 or 4 times during the show, and I wondered what it was.
See, that was my first time hearing it, because I've been focusing on making the show better.
Right. Well, maybe, you know, there's some people have foot fetishes, Matt, and so that we should have promoted that. It should have been in the.
Well, you know, Jimmy, we all know that the real reason I'm trying to make the cameras better so your grinder account gets a little bit better, and
that's why
your feet being in higher quality for the video is really going to help.
Well, I told you we're getting another camera. We can just point it down at my 9 toes.
Yeah, there we go.
And just the whole time, and it's just going to be up in the corner. Actually, that'll be on the OnlyFans.
Oh, wow.
That I'm going to start.
You know, that's only going to satisfy 90% of someone's foot fetish if there's only 9 toes.
No, it's special. Like how I mean, who's really going to go to the level to cut their toe off to be just like me?
Well, I think the 10th toe kind of is what completes it, maybe.
So if they go on the OnlyFans, they'll get the foot cam the whole time, and we'll answer their questions first. I guess that's how you do it. You said people could pay us money on this too. Didn't someone do that?
Yeah, on YouTube. We have super chats enabled. We also have memberships might be enabled, but I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, like people can give us money that they can essentially send thanks.
Yeah. How hard is that going to be for me to send it all back? Hey, speaking of giving us money, I'd like to thank all of our sponsors, especially Bulletproof Designs, who has guards and chain things available for most of the 2023 models already. Most 2022 KTM Group products swap over to the new models, so that's all ready. And then they have the pegs for the 23 models are going to be available soon, and that's even if you have a TBI 2-stroke. Those foot pegs will work over there too. So check out Bulletproof Designs for all of your protection and foot peg needs. Okay, is that good?
Yeah, that was excellent.
Okay.
I think that was one of your best reads ever.
Thank you. Just keep me happy here.
Okay, so Facebook
Flynn
user.
says thank you. Yeah, what is your favorite lithium-ion battery? Okay, Flynn. My current favorite lithium-ion battery is the Shawari batteries, and I've been using those for a long time at my riding schools. They help us out quite a bit. So I'm blown away by the life that I get out of those things as long as you treat them properly. In other words, lithium-ion batteries do not like having a parasitic load put on them. So in other words, something that's constantly drawing on them, or they don't like to be run dead. And the good thing about the Shawaris, and I don't know if it's the circuitry or if it's in design, is when you leave your key on, for instance, they get down to a certain voltage and then they just shut off. And then if you charge them back up, or you can get the bike started, they charge right back up and they're good again. They don't let it drain down to death levels for lithium ion, where I know some of the cheaper lower end batteries do that. So those are the ones that I like. So there we go.
Nice.
They only have a 250. What's that?
I'm not sure.
Sometimes I think in the chat, some people don't realize that we only get to see like one thing at a time, and they answer a question, and we're 4 minutes behind or 10 minutes deep into it. So, anyways, that's why we have the Seat Concepts Hot Seat Hotline. Speaking of Seat Concepts, you may not know this, but I just joined a Husaberg 2008 to 2014 Facebook group.
Oh.
The other day. So that's the KTM era Husabergs, we'll call them, the more modern. Although I tell you what, even if you're into the older stuff, the older Swedish-made Husabergs, they have a lot of information there about this stuff. And I need to post there because if you want to get a seat for your Husaberg 570 because they're so powerful and you clinched really hard and you may have like worn the seat out or the foam, Seat Concepts now has proprietary foam and seat covers for the Husaberg 570s, which also means 450s and 390s, available for you. So if that 570 horsepower is just too much and it's ripping your seat off, that's where you can go. So I know that's a top seller for them. They make YZ250 seats too. I saw that on Ken Roxon's YZ250.
Oh.
I did watch Red Bull Straight Rhythm.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, I think the rain.
I know what happens.
The rain came at the end. I mean, how often does it rain in Southern California?
Not often, right?
And it got slippery, and those guys are so gnarly. I mean, they're just, hey, Carson Brown,
yeah,
killing it on the 125.
Dirt bike test legend.
Yeah, we fired him. Yeah, it was probably our smartest move ever. I think just turning him loose to let him go do what he does.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm stoked on Carson because he does have a good time. He's getting to do lots of cool stuff. I like that he can ride anything, and kid just wants to ride. The best thing I remember is at Mini Moto. This was at the Orleans Arena in Vegas. They had the Mini Moto races, and Dwayne was there, and Dwayne had probably prepped 50 different mini bikes for all different stars and magazine guys and people coming from other countries to race all these aluminum frame mini bikes and different things. And Carson was really young, and he was just old enough to be able to race. He was so pissed because he couldn't ride all the time. They had, no, Carson, you can't ride around the parking lot. No, you can't go on the track. And he was just crying. The kid was just in there, like throwing temper tantrums. And they'd like, okay, just go in the back of the parking lot, ride around, come back. And he's like, I want to go on the track. It's like, no, it's not. It's going to be 2 hours for your next practice. That's passion.
Yeah,
that was pure passion. But
just wanted to ride his bike.
Okay.
He seems like a good guy too.
Yeah, he's kind of a shy kid. He lets it show on the track though. There's no doubt about that. What does Mario want to know?
Need your advice, guys. I'm 5'8". Best way to drop my Sierra 450 RL. Can you give me advice, bro?
Bro. Why are you dropping it at 5'8"?
Enduro trials are hard on my bike.
Enduro trails.
Sorry.
Enduro trails are hard on my bike. No, your lack of balance is causing the bike to tip over, and you feel that you want to put both feet on the ground, where if you were more in tune with your balance, then you would know which foot to put down when the time came to put a foot down. If that makes sense, then you don't need to come to my school. But if it doesn't, then we have a class this weekend.
Yeah, from
you
Nevada.
just fly out. I'll put you on a bike that's, if you really want to be on a lowered bike, I'll put you on a lowered bike, and then after half an hour, you'll go, why am I doing this? We don't ride with our feet on the ground. I don't know why everybody's so worried about putting their feet on the ground. Pick a side. Get your butt off the side of the seat. Your butt's not Velcro to the seat. Let it slide off a little bit, and then put a foot down that you need to. And Did Trevor ever send you pictures of the 23 Yamaha?
He didn't send me pictures.
He didn't send you pictures. They must be embargoed. Let me try to call him again. Let's see here. Any more questions?
450 RL might not be the best choice for trail enduro stuff.
Yeah, it's fine. It does it okay. I mean, you'd be better off on a
like a two-stroke or a
on a Yamaha WR450.
Oh, that's an excellent point.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yamaha. This show is partially brought to you by Yamaha. So if you want to enter the victory zone, you can go to, what's the website?
Is it Yamaha Motorsports.com?
Well, where's the sheet that I'm supposed to read it off of?
It's way over there.
And the fan kicked on again. Oh boy.
Well, it was very happy with me earlier, and now it's very angry at me.
How come I can't find Trevor's phone number on here?
Didn't you just call him?
I thought I did. Oh, here we go. There we go. We'll try one more time. He's probably in bed already.
I say he is 3 hours ahead of us currently, right?
Right. Yeah, they're in Florida. I'll call Scott Hoffman. That guy's probably still at the bar. He's actually, the reason he's not answering is because he knows he's going to get in trouble. I guarantee you that they told him, don't answer that call. They're worried because I know how to ask the questions. Mm-hmm. I wasn't going to get him in trouble that much.
Right.
So.
Well, we do have 2 questions lined up for when he doesn't pick up.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system. I'm going to leave a message. System.
Okay.
714.
Oh, we got it now. I don't want to give his number out.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have.
We could have unplugged it really quick and then plugged it back in.
Okay, next question.
All right. So from TW Hicks, what about lowering a bike for a 5-foot woman?
So there you get into a thing here when we're talking about like the size of the woman. Some 5-foot women are strong enough to be able to ride full-size bikes, and they don't necessarily need to be lowered. It depends on the way their body's built, how much, how long their legs are versus the torso and all that kind of stuff. But in reality, I think it's a little bit better off that you don't go overboard with lowering, or maybe just find the right bike. Like some of these, like the Beta Cross Trainer is a really good bike. Someone was pointing out to me that the Reju has a smaller-ish bike. I don't think it's a smaller frame like the Beta is. And the problem is when you start lowering them, that really alters the geometry, and then the bikes don't work the way that they're supposed to. So she is short-legged. Okay, then you really start, at that point, you do start needing to make it so that they can touch the ground, because even when they get off the side of the bike, it's such a long reach to the ground. And then it's a combination of, can you lower the subframe a little bit? Can you lower it, which is hard to do. Can you lower the seat, cut the seat foam, making the bike a little bit uncomfortable if they're sitting down, which usually you watch small riders, if they really know how to ride, they don't sit down very much. Mm-hmm. At that point, it's like, do you look at like a big-wheeled 85, as the ideal bike for it, for someone like that? Maybe a TTR 125, big wheel. I ride one. I'm 5'10", and I can ride one, and I can ride it hard, and I can go, well, as fast as most people on their regular bikes when we're riding trails. So it's not that it's that incapable. Yeah, sure, it's like a little low on power, but I got a BBR kit in it. Put a tune on that thing. Really good. So
yeah, he says they put WP built some custom components, and they rebuilt the subframe.
Right. So they're on the path. Yeah. Yeah, those are the kind of things. It's the issues. The issues is that when it's a full size bike, and usually a 5-foot woman is not the same strength as a 170-pound man. They're usually not 170 pounds, and they're not as strong. Mm-hmm. And so controlling a bike like that becomes a little bit problematic. So yeah, we got to do something about that. The computer never did that before.
No. Well, I'm trying to lower it down in increments, so it's not.
Oh, noticeable. Hey, don't worry. When all this stuff goes out into the ether, they recode it themselves, and it doesn't matter what it looks like. Nobody's watching this to see what it looks like. They're I have no idea what it's doing wrong, but
no, it's just we're using. I'm trying to optimize right now.
Optimize.
Yeah, and so. Yeah.
Visit YamahaMotorsports.com today to explore what's new and improved for 2023. We need to get that new read, because I might say the number wrong, and then it's different. So I'd like to tell you about next show. I promise you, on next week's show, we will dive deep into the YZ450. Actually, I think I may just make Trevor just host the damn show.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to take the weekend off again. I kind of like taking the weekend off. I like not having to do this.
Yeah. And
then just have Trevor do it.
Felt fresh coming in.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like rusty and dilapidated.
Well,
maybe it shows.
Let's see. Finn825 had another question. If we have any thoughts on the TM dirt bikes?
I haven't ridden a TM for probably 5 or 6 years. They were, and I don't know if I've ridden any of the. I think I rode one of the very first fuel injected 4-strokes, and it was it needed a lot of work, kind of like at the time every fuel injected bike did. They have a very handmade build to them, and they also need a lot of attention. So what I mean by that is it's not as polished as some of the other products, but if you like to tinker and tune, then you'll be just fine with a TM. You're going to learn that they have little idiosyncrasies like all bikes, and you'll learn what they are for that particular bike. Like I remember when they went to aluminum frames, they tended to vibrate quite a bit more than other bikes that went to aluminum frames. And I think they were just learning the rigidity. But look, these bikes are winning, they won Enduro World Championships. You see people doing well on them in extreme enduros. They can be set up and made to do whatever they need to do. I hope that doesn't sound as bad in the show as it sounds to me. So, yeah. So Curtis Grimes says,
23 FU501S looking to help the bar with bar vibrations. Looking to get the Mako 360 bar clamps. Asked online, and most people liked them. What's your opinion?
I like flex bars better. And of course, Fasst Company is a sponsor of the show. So when you're talking about pure vibration, I think that the Mako with the right elastomer will do better for vibration. I'm kind of curious that you're complaining about vibration on that bike and what kind of vibration it is. So is it the wheels being out of balance? Is it engine vibration? There's all different kinds of things, and on these different systems, BRP has a triple clamp mount, a handlebar mount that has some elastomers and dampeners in it. And I use those in conjunction with the flex bars because I don't think the flex bars are the best at just taking out pure vibration. And when I'm talking about pure vibration, I'm talking more about engine vibration, not wheel out of balance vibration, which are two completely very different things. And I'm really surprised that the Husky, in my opinion, the Husky vibrates less than even the KTM just because of the subframe, and I think they have different bars on them that might be a little bit different. But anyways, so I think if you're just going for pure vibration, like engine vibration, the Mako might do a little bit better, but the issue I have with the Mako is I feel like the bars are disconnected from the triple clamps to a certain extent. And I'm very particular about this. I don't like, and the thing with the flex bars is you're not disconnected at all. You're still solid mounted, but again, it depends on what you're kind of searching for and what you're trying to achieve. And I think I've seen people all over the place, and generally, this is what you'll generally find. If somebody spent, the $500 to $600, $400, $300, $400, $700 on all these different things up there, they're going to tell you it's the best.
Right.
I've rarely seen somebody that spent a lot of money on something that told you that no, that doesn't necessarily work. And I've had people tell me, yeah, the flex bars they move. I can feel them move too much for me. And then I go, well, what elastomers were you running? And they're like, huh? I'm like, okay. Did you ever try the stiffer elastomers? And it's like, no. And like, okay, because you can adjust how they move. Same thing with the Mako. They have different elastomers for them. And even when I went to unfortunately, when I tried them, and this is a long time ago, I haven't tried a newer one. When I went to the stiffest elastomer, any of the benefits that I got from the bars, I didn't get it anymore. To the level I wanted. So, and it's a personal thing. I think they definitely do work for a lot of people, and so. Oh, what sounds bad? Take a bat to it.
It's when you were talking about the fan.
Oh, it does sound bad.
Yeah, that's what George is saying.
Maybe we should just never even publish this show.
Well, I'm going to say maybe it's George's Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Okay. There was another question. Where did it go? Wait, I think we just answered that one. And then Dunlop MX-53 for trail riding. Any good? Puncture resistant?
I have not trail ridden with a Dunlop MX-53. They generally, if Dunlops are generally all around good tires. You don't think you're going to have puncture resistance. I think, like, show me the nail you're going to run over. It's or the rock you're gonna hit. And what pressure are you running it at?
Mm-hmm.
I tell you what, I did I do a front tire comparison with those? I don't know. I think we did something with the front tires on something, but I don't specifically remember right now. But it'd be an average front tire. There's probably some better stuff out there, but it's a good all around tire. You're not gonna be bothered by it.
Okay, so Curtis Grimes had chimed back in. I'm thinking it's engine vibrations as it's felt its speeds and RPMs. We'll definitely check wheel balance before spending the money on bars or clamps.
Yeah, so if at all speeds and all RPMs, that's weird because usually they have a zone that a bike will vibrate in. And if it's all the time, so here's some other things you can check. So loosen up and retorque your engine mount bolts and your swing arm pivot and your head stay. Like, loosen them all up, get them all loose, and then retorque them and allow the bike to unwind itself, if that makes any sense. The other thing that might help is make sure that your chain tension isn't too tight. I've seen people have their chains too tight, and it causes the bike to vibrate and makes it bad. Also, let's see, on the bars, what else could be weird? That's usually it. I mean, a lot of times the bikes are just the chassis all wound up, or the torques on the engine mounts are wrong. So, okay, RL.
I had a 21 TM300 and now on a 22 TM300. Loved the first one. The second one is even better. No tinkering needed thus far. My only gripe is you have to remove the handlebars to adjust the forks.
This is what I'm talking about on some of the it's a hand built bike,
right?
And some of the things. So I'll tell you what, RL, there's an adjuster that you can get. I'm sure somebody makes an adjuster that you can get so you can do it by hand and not have to use a screwdriver. So that might solve that, because I've had bikes like that too, that were, I actually moved my handlebar position and it went right over the top of the forks, and then wasn't easily able to do it. So that's good. The TMs, like I said, all these bikes are getting better and better. You can't have a junk bike anymore, and so there's a lot of guys riding them. So. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's do our first Rooster Endo.
Okay.
So Rooster Endo, this is a segment brought to you by Taco Moto. That's tacomoto.co. Hey, they've got brand new wiring harness, dual sport wiring harnesses for the KTMs and Huskies and gases and stuff. So if you are interested in, if your stock wiring harness is bad or you need a better one, then go there. Oh boy, here we go.
All right.
Let's starting off winter season fresh today.
Yep. So
our first segment for Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. Hey, if you think the quality of the show is bad, look at that photo. Like, what was it? It was his what do they call the emoji, or the profile pics or something like that? And he just blew it up.
It could potentially could be that. Could be bad phone camera as well.
What do we got there?
So this is Jared Stone. It's a 2021 KTM 500 XCFW. Taco Moto Athena.
Not anymore.
Taco Moto Athena Git. Pro Moto billet exhaust end cap. Smog delete. Reeds removed. Air Force velocity stack intake. Lead acid battery. Otherwise stock, mostly with coolant heated bars for snow biking.
Coolant heated bars. That's the first time I've heard of that. And it's probably a troll thing.
I've only ever heard of,
Have you heard of that before?
In Alaska, it was always the electric
grip heaters.
Yeah.
Coolant heated bars. So I'm going to need a little more explanation on this, because I think it's Seems like a good idea. Just how does it circulate? That's a question. These are interesting ideas. So that bike does not have enough power to be doing a snow bike thing. That photo's fake. I'm sure you can't see it. So here's the way they did that photo, because I've been in the photo biz for a little while.
No, this is a real product.
Oh my God. It is. Coolant heated bars center flow.
You can get them in different colors. So you need a thermostat, and then, look, they're $325.
Okay, so how does it circulate?
So there's little...
Yeah, there's an in valve.
Yeah.
And an out. Is there an out valve at the side?
I think.
Hey, this is cool. I like to learn something new every show, but
Yeah. Oh, no, on top. So it looks like it circulates around the bar and it comes out.
So somehow inside the bar there's plumbing.
Yeah.
There's no way. There's no way that they can.
I'm trying to see.
I mean, for sure.
Like it has to be like a hose or something that just runs in and around.
Maybe it goes in and there's a hose that takes the hot, like there's a T, somehow there's a T inside. I don't know how they're getting it inside of there.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some sort of a way that it goes out there and distributes it out to the end of the bar, and then it would flow back in. That's a
cool product.
Well, the funny thing is we used to have air chambers. There was those little fork air bottles that would make your fork. You could kind of adjust the air volume in the chamber. And we were using our handlebars on some bikes that they didn't want to clamp the forks onto. We would actually plumb that air chamber into the handlebar. And then you had an adjustment on it as well. And you could really affect the initial stroke of the fork by quite some bit with a similar thing, using the air chamber inside of the handlebar as part of the suspension. But that, if it works, that's actually pretty cool. Sorry, I thought he was joking with me, but
no,
I'm
that's
glad we
like,
researched it.
No, because
I don't know why just electric grip heaters wouldn't do the job either, but maybe on those bikes, like anything you can do to cool them down. I don't know. They just run so hard all the time. But so okay, back to the photo. So he has a small midget friend who is underneath there and holding the bike up, and then the midget friend is also picking up small person. I mean, is also picking up snowballs and throwing it back
like dirt bombs, but
at the camera, like the dirt bombs, like we talked about back in the old days. Because if you don't have like a nitrous equipped Husaberg 570, you're just wasting your time putting a snow track on the back of something like this, because you want to talk about something that eats power. Those tracks eat a lot of power.
But
that's pretty rad.
They are fun though. Like, have you ridden one in the last few years?
Not since they've had a big evolution in the front track in the front ski. Yeah. They were, when I rode them, they had the back tracks pretty good. Like it was Timber Sled, and there was a couple other
Yeti is a really big popular one.
I never rode a Yeti, but they kind of figured out the track in the back quite a bit, just the way that they flexed and rolled and different things like that. But we rode them for 3 days, and every day we had a new front ski. Try this, and I was like, oh man, that's better. And okay, that's way worse. Then try this. Well, oh, that's way better. And so they were just kind of learning about how that worked. But the best one I ever rode is, believe it or not, a KTM 690.
Oh hey,
yeah.
It makes a lot of sense though.
Because it has torque and it can pull the thing out. It's got a shit ton of power.
Hey,
so.
we found a good use for the 690s then.
Yeah.
Right.
Great snow bike. Yeah. Great snow bike. Not a motorcycle.
The ones I rode were all motocross 450s, and they got the job done.
It's like riding a 125 though.
Yeah. But it handles like a road bike. I kept trying to turn it like a dirt bike, and I couldn't turn it.
No,
for the first hour.
You lean them or something. It's weird.
Then I pretended I was like Marc Marquez, and then I'm like, oh, now this thing's actually starting to turn. And they love powder.
They
love powder.
They love perfect. There's a certain condition for them, because you get them on icy, crusty stuff, and they're horrible.
Oh yeah.
It's like riding on sand dunes that have like 3 inches of water have just fallen on them, and they're only wet this deep. I have some experience with that. Did you see my my latest.
I did.
I've got you in my pocket.
I didn't see the full thing, but
Oh, you got bored.
Yes.
I should have put that thing. Wait till the end. Wait for it.
Yeah.
You know how many times you've had to wait for it on the internet on some stupid video, and it was like that wasn't worth it. This was totally worth it. If you want to hear what a cartwheel in the sand sounds like, and what it's like to land back on your feet after you do it, that's what it was. I'll put another Insta thingy up there with the explanation of how I landed, so you don't have to go through that whole audio experience.
Well, we could talk about it on Better Rider.
How to land on your feet like a cat.
Yeah, there we go.
And that's years of experience, or you're just a cat. So, but you're allergic to cats, so you'll never know. You got to hang out with cats for a long time to figure out these techniques.
Well, anyway, does Jared Stone roost or endo?
Not roost. I gave him a hard time, and he taught me something, so he totally roosts.
Yeah, he roosts, and I appreciate the look back with the wheelie there. Even though my understanding is that they're pretty easy to wheelie because it's impossible for them to like loop out without the.
Oh no, they'll loop out.
No. I've seen them get stuck up, but I haven't seen them like.
Oh, loop like in a wheelie loop.
Yeah. But like rear, like you need a new rear fender to loop out.
No, it's hard to get the fender. It's you can flip them. You just go up. All you have to do is go up something really steep, and then they grab some extra traction on something, and they'll loop.
No, but I'm talking about.
Yeah, nice look back. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Okay. Any other questions?
Let's see. I thought I might have saw something from our.
Oh wait. Somebody's
chat.
talking about the things. Don't want to bend the bars in that bike then, or crack them or whatever.
Yeah.
So
work damn good.
It's a snowmobile thing. They plug the bars. Yeah, I get it, but I'm curious about if you're just pumping water up in and out of there. If you're making it flow, what's going to get the hot water to go out to the bar ends? Would it just do it just naturally? It would just want to go in and out, I think.
Convection, it would eventually heat the whole bar up.
Yeah, eventually. Yeah. So, yeah, okay. Next question.
Yep. Okay, so next question. We'll just go here.
Yeah.
So
water pump. Yeah.
So we'll actually go to a real question here. So this is from the 2020.
And by a real question, you mean a question that came in the YouTube questions.
Well, it's one that's not just going to talk about how great last show was.
Okay, because it was a good show.
It
Better
was.
than this one.
So from Heat, this was on a X300 XEW, I think the 2020 review. Wouldn't running a 1350 gearing ratio make the XEW more usable in the half gears?
In the half gears, is that when you misshift between third and fourth and misshift? Like what's a half gear?
I'm not sure what he means by that.
So you can definitely go to 13, which is like dropping essentially 3 teeth in the rear, and that's going to close it up quite a bit, but it's going to make first so low that it's going to become unusable. You'll never use first, and then so it'll close it back up, but I don't really think it's that much of a problem. It kind of depends on it. It depends. That's kind of the point where you're just kind of a certain rider that maybe likes to shift a little too early. You haven't taught yourself to like let the bike rev out a little bit, and so it doesn't pull. And a lot of times, remember when I tell people about was the throttle wide open, and they're like, yeah. I'm like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah. And I go, okay, go try it again and make sure that when you turn it, you feel that it's wide open. And what do? They go out and they back off.
Right.
Because they're like, oh, so no, I guess it wasn't wide open. I thought it was. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, okay, you think that's impressive. Now get it wide open and let it keep revving.
Right.
Like actually let the bike pull. So we have drills that we do with this where we have you experience the full aspect of the power band. And so some guys just can't stop from banging that shift a little bit quick. And so for them, you might need to close the gears up. We had test riders at the magazine that anytime we put them on a wide ratio gearbox, they struggled with it. They just couldn't couldn't come to terms with it. And a lot of times it wasn't just upshifting, it was downshifting. They would downshift too early and just the bike would just throw it way up in the revs.
Yeah.
And that gear was unusable because they're kind of into over rev. You know, they thought they needed to downshift and they downshift, and then all of a sudden they're past peak power and net and kind of a bad thing. And they didn't learn it, and they were so used to like kind of what their bike did. Maybe they were, you know, riding motocross bikes. And I know this, like even with Trevor, he's so used to riding the closed ratio transmissions. He's getting better since he's been riding the FX a little bit more. But he was always like YZ. Didn't like FX because gearbox.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you just start learning to use it, and then you realize that there's certain things about it that are an advantage. Yeah, you do have if you need it, you have a lower first gear, and then you have a taller fifth speed. So on the KTM you have 6, but KTM keeps the ratio between fifth and sixth kind of close. It's just an extra gear, and it gives it that much more legs. So their boxes tend to be a little bit tighter. But yeah, you could go all the way down. I would only go 1 or 2 teeth, maybe 2 teeth max down on the rear, not to a 13. The only time I ever went to like a from a 14 down to a 13 on a KTM was when I was riding ridiculously tight technical stuff where I knew I was never going to use 6th gear, and I wanted to have, like, at that time almost 3 gears for everything. You know, if you really wanted to go up something with a certain wheel speed and not a lot of horsepower, you could upshift, or if you needed to get power, you could downshift and go the same speed, and then you have the snap of the motor. So I think, you know, stock gearing on most bikes is really good, but if you have special needs, there's ways to adjust it. I just don't think that people ever fully, you know, they're doing it because they heard, somebody said that there's gaps in the transmission. It's like, well, are you feeling them? Yes. Okay. Can you do something simple to stop it from happening? I don't know. Or can you do something, you know, is there a reason for your gearing change? Like, what do you actually really is there an advantage to that, and are you going to gain from it? So I think with that, we need to take a commercial break.
Yeah, I agree with you. Looking at the time, we'll be right back.
What's up, Moto Buddies? Mike here from Taco Moto Co. What is the Taco Touch? It's the best service in the industry. Virtually 24/7 tech support via email or text, and it's like having a dirt bike doctor on call every day of the year, helping you fix your bike or recommend parts or setups for you. If you've ever received an order from us, you'll know that the Taco Touch extends to our fulfillment, and our orders come with the coolest stickers that you've ever had, buying parts from anybody before, and a handful of root beer barrel candies. All of our Taco Moto Co. branded components come with a no questions asked lifetime warranty, and we'll even extend out the warranty of other manufacturers, OEM, and aftermarket parts where we can, sometimes for life. We test and tune endlessly and exhaustively and obsessively. We're trying to destroy everything that we can before you get your hands on it, to look for weaknesses and to improve it, or to make recommendations to the manufacturer. And if it's something that doesn't meet grade, then we don't offer it on the store. Everything that we carry is something that we have personally used, tested, and ridden, and raced, and knows meets the high Taco Touch demanding standard. Go out and get some adventure.
Since 2009, Seat Concepts has been dedicated to making the best aftermarket seats. More comfort, more grip, more riding. For 10 years, we've continued to raise the bar. Innovation and American craftsmanship make Seat Concepts the world-leading manufacturer of power sports seats.
No. And we are back.
Yeah.
Our horrible noise quality and everything. Thanks for joining the show again. Support those that support this show. I know you hear that all the time, but in reality, things like this would not be possible if it wasn't for companies that kind of support the sport. There's other ways to support Dirt Bike Test. You can click through the links on our website. You can either go through Rocky Mountain MC ATV or ATV MC, and if you click through there, you can get pretty much anything you would want for your dirt bike. And if you go through our link, we get a small chunk of that. It really helps us out here. Helps pay for Matt to come in here and make fans go off.
Yep.
So the other thing you can do is click through on Amazon. So if you're buying what are we buying on Amazon this week? A small Chinese tractor. You're buying a small Chinese tractor on Amazon. Click through our link and we'll get a small portion of that as well. And that helps us out also. So that's what you get for free. A couple little ad reads here and there.
Yep.
So Victor says the sound quality is good, which is how can you tell when you're 22 Modelo's in
Yeah.
to the show. Thanks for always supporting Victor. He'll have a CR500 question later. He'll tell us to shove it, but he's probably in semi-Facebook jail as usual.
Mm.
Is your profile picture there, Victor? Is that a CR500? That's what we really need to know. He's a Honda guy.
Mm.
Yeah. So what does Facebook user want to know?
Blias Racing or JD Jet Kit for 2011 530 EXC, 6 of one, half dozen the other.
I don't have any specific experience with either of those in that particular bike. So at that point, I can't tell you specifically, but basically you should sell that bike. Especially if it has less than 150 hours on it, because if it has more than that, you're going to be working on it real soon. I think that if it depends on what you're doing. If you're definitely doing some modifications, you need to have some sort of a jetting kit to it. If you have anything more than a muffler that flows much more than stock, then yes, you're going to have to do something there. I think both of those companies really know what they're doing, and I've had good experience with both of their stuff. So either or, yeah, 6 and one half dozen or the other.
Okay. Sound on YouTube is good. Okay. Look at that.
If you're watching something else, then something else.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm getting text messages from someone about flying planes right now. I don't know. This is not Tech Talk Flying Plane Tuesday, Hans.
Let's
do another Rooster Endo.
Yeah, let's do some Rooster Endo here. Everyone's favorite segment. So this is this is actually someone that we're familiar with here in Pahrump.
Okay.
This is Brian Horton's bike.
Brian Horton, a former coach at the Jimmy Lewis Off-Road Riding School.
Yeah. Okay, so it's a turbine core slip-on.
Look at that! Look at that climb helmet, showing it off.
Mm-hmm. Look at those hills too.
Hey, if you're on any of my personal Facebook or Instagram feeds, you probably are familiar with Paul Neff. Did you see the F3 helmet that he smashed?
Oh yeah.
Ridiculous, and that helmet did its job.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it just goes to show that that helmet works. And he ended up with some pretty good injuries, but nothing too super serious that we know about. So pretty good. But yeah, I haven't talked to him yet to find out what hit his head or what he hit his head into.
I can't believe that he kept riding with that.
Yeah, for 2 days. Well, he probably didn't take it off. He probably, Paul's an ox. He probably just got up and kept going.
Right.
And so, yeah, it was ugly. So, okay, back to this Brian's bike.
Okay. A Cherokee skid plate, P3 pipe guard.
Oh, you know what's for sale right now, though? I think he just had a baby.
Yeah.
Another one, or is it two, or just
Brian?
the first one?
I think this is the first one.
Oh, the bike's for sale. Okay, keep going.
He's still waiting on the Jimmy Lewis PBR sponsorship sticker. His supplier doesn't answer to Instagram stories.
Right here. Oh, you can't see that because I'm behind the screen. I'm behind this. So here's the Peebs, right there. The bike is, I like it. That's a good bike. I mean, what's not to like about that bike? He's done a couple little things to it. It looks like it makes me want to go riding there. Look at the wet dirt.
Yeah.
I got to ride in wet. I got to ride in rain, and then I had to deal with flash floods right afterwards. But pretty good, nice. I wonder what he's covering up on that with this helmet, or he's just a sponsor plug. Is it, Brian? If you want to do the sponsor plug, I would have rotated that helmet a 180. Yeah, so the logo wasn't upside down. But good job. I'm liking it. I think it roosts.
Okay.
Even though I don't answer his Instagram stories. Every time he comes out here like on a holiday. He comes back to town on a holiday weekend, and I'm never here. And he wants to hang out, and I'm like, dude, I'm going up to the mountains. I'm going to where you get to live.
Right.
To go riding, and you're coming back down to Valley of the Dirt People. So,
okay. So this is now. Let me get the photo up here. Redone here. So this is going to be Rudy Levick.
It says Twisted Wrench.
The pictures
on the thing. Oh, okay. Boy. Wow.
A 2020. Here we go. Now I can actually resize the photo. There we go. 500 EXCF.
So do you resize this like live on the show? It's like scrolls around when they're watching the show. They get to watch you move that photo around?
Yeah. I want to give people some motion sickness.
Got it.
Taco tuned Power Commander 5. Tidy Tail. Fork wrap turn signals. Moto minded dash.
Did I tell you already that I have a girl that wants to write poetry?
No. We did not hear about this.
So on the Rebel Rally, a girl wrote some poetry, and it's about motorcycles, and one of them was about like the sound of a two-stroke in the morning. Instead of the smell of the two-stroke in the morning is the sound of the two-stroke in the morning.
Yeah.
And she told me some, and I'm like, you've got to get me this, because I have some co-hosts that I'd love to have read this.
Big words.
There might be some big words, and there might be just like, can you imagine? Like, okay, do you remember when you were their age in a prump school?
Yes.
And okay, students, we're gonna do poetry.
Yeah.
Where did your brain go?
I'm a nerd, so I actually was like kind of excited about it. And mine went.
How's your Grindr account doing?
No. But my mind went to, I'm going to make fun. I'm going to roast the teacher, and I did do that with poetry because he was really cool about it.
Oh, okay.
So we would roast him, and then we roasted the principal with poetry too.
See, I guarantee you those two, our former co-hosts.
Yeah.
They did not engage in that whatsoever. Yeah, so having them read motorcycle related poetry, I not. Because I would, the only reason I know this because I was just like them. Like my brain turned off and I was looking out the window and on a different planet. So to have that opportunity, so I told her, hey, if you can get me this, I would love to have it read on air
Yeah,
live by one of my mute co-hosts.
Which, have you heard from any of them lately?
No, they don't talk to me anymore. Yeah.
I don't hear from them either.
Yeah, they're just kids. Gone.
I sent them something of like a proof of concept for a video idea I had. I didn't get a response from one of them. The other one I only got 2 words.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. Well, that'd be both of them combined.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Back to this bike.
Yeah. So fork route, turn signals, Moto-minded dash, Moto-minded headlight mount, Baja Designs XL80, bulletproof designs protection everywhere, Fastway end cap, Fasst Company absorbent foot pegs, Steg pegs, ODI road grips, Dirt Trick sprockets, a P3 pipe guard, Enduro Engineering titanium brake pedal, Cycler handguards.
Bob, this looks like a bike that you built, except he didn't drill holes in like weird places and cut stuff out. He has all that stuff, and there's a stock muffler on it. I mean, I know he put the promo. Oh, that's plastic. That's a plastic discard. Yeah, I can tell it. But I think by going with that, he's actually trying to keep it quiet a little bit, which I really, really appreciate. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of seat concepts.
Cycler handguards, double take mirror, seat concepts, tall comfort seat, a Chair Beast 3.2 with a 90-degree insert.
That is a
top.
good seat. So the reason I took the bike I took on Rebel, because I spent a lot of time riding around setting checkpoints and things on a KTM 500 that looks exactly like this, and that it's a KTM 500, but nothing like this because I don't have nearly the stuff on it. I have a bigger tank. Because of the seat concept seat. Mm-hmm. I knew that I was going to be cruising down a lot of dirt roads and be sitting down and just cruising, and it was like that bike has a good seat. I'm taking it. So, mine has I have the suede seat.
Yeah.
So it's super comfy, but they're not as durable. I mean, we know that when we go and buy them, that it's not going to last as long. But my ass is worth the extra wear and tear in the seat. Although I do have bikes that are 2008, so 12, 14, 14 years old to have those kind of seats on them. So it's not durability. They harden up a little bit over time. That guy's got a lot of stuff. Bob wants to point at something.
He's won the spending war.
He won the spending war. Okay, yeah, that's good. What's that little leather thing sitting on top of the muffler? He has some sort of that's a protector.
Oh, it's a hatchet.
Is it a hatchet?
Yeah, you see.
Oh, wow. Yeah. He's got the hatchet on the side of the... Why bother? It's Halloween, right? Because you're going to go out and just lop heads off of cats or something?
Well, what if there's something on the trail and you gotta cut it down, but you don't want a saw?
It doesn't look like it.
Man, have you ever cut a tree with an axe or a hatchet?
Oh, yeah. I don't know why you would ever want...
Yeah, when they make tools for this, I would much rather have the big silky
saw.
Yeah, maybe he rides in rough neighborhoods and he's not allowed to carry. He's against guns. I don't know. He's just How come What happened there?
Well, we have some stuff going on here that I gotta tend to, so I had to pop up our stream really quick.
Oh, because I said big silky, we got in trouble.
No,
that's like
we
a bad
didn't get
word.
In trouble. No, we didn't get in trouble.
Oh, you clicked on that Facebook dating thing, didn't you?
Yeah, I was.
Did you get a hookup?
No, no. I was trying to get rid of the bots.
Matt's getting dates on our live feed right now as we speak.
Well,
this is awesome.
If you've noticed, we haven't been getting as much spam. Because someone here has been deleting it as it comes in.
Right.
So we don't get it as much.
Matt's got Tinder Hot XYZ Best Adult Dating Site going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right on. I didn't. Best
I
dating
like
site is
Grindr. Come on.
Hey, yeah. The XYZ is next level, SS. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
Hey, this bike, it roosts too. I don't.
Yeah,
wait a minute. Whoa. Hold on. Put the damn picture back up.
Oh, we're putting it back up.
Put it back up. I got some complaints.
Okay.
Full size.
Yeah.
Okay. This is taken in the garage. Let's zoom in on the vise. This guy spends a lot of money on his stuff. Is that a good vise or is that a cheapo Harbor Freighto? Or this is going to determine. Notice he's got a
software.
complete cylinder set for something in the background there. This guy's mechanicking away. That's a El Cheapo vice. I don't know. What do
I
we?
think I've seen this vice in your shop, Jimmy.
Hey, there's a reason why I know things, okay? So, that just and then look at that gas tank.
That's the stock tank.
No, that is not the stock
Oh no,
tank
it's
for
not. That is yellowed.
No, I'm starting to recognize that tank. There was something else that it's like a God, I want to say DR650 tank that thing fits on. So who knows? But that is definitely not off the KTM.
Yeah, I mean, water bottle's empty too back here.
Yeah, but the fact that he didn't take it outside to shoot it, it's gonna.
Yeah, he doesn't get the points.
The bike roosts, but it's really gonna affect you in the overall outcome.
The photo effort.
Besides, he doesn't need $100. He's already spent plenty of hundreds on that thing.
Right. He's dropping Benjis all over the place. All right.
So don't shoot your bike in your garage. If you want to. Oh. Okay, so if you're not going to shoot it in the garage, at least don't roll it out in front of your garage and put it in front of your wife's Lexus.
Yeah, it could be his Lexus.
Oh, come on. Like,
hey, you see the car I drive?
Yeah, everybody's not like you, Matt. I honestly think that, well, if...
Oh, hold on. He's got a nice... Wait, is this a street? Oh, that's a street. I thought this was his driveway for a second. So hold on. That's street parking. We don't know whose Lexus that could be. That could be the neighbor's.
Okay. Yeah, it could be the neighbor parked and they wrecked his. He was probably just shooting this photo and she came home late from work, popped her cooler out, what's in the background, just dropped the cooler out of the car.
The contents of the cooler also affect the rating.
Right. He's got the plug in the muffler. So he's probably in such a restrictive neighborhood, he's not allowed to allow unused exhaust fumes to come out of. It's California, so he can't have the unused exhaust fumes coming out of that muffler at any time. Okay, let's hear about this bike. Whose is it?
Jesse Weiner's.
Jesse Weiner. Okay.
Yep. 2021 EXCF 350. The only thing I do not have done is the internal oil gear. Thermal delete. Bike rips as it should. So he doesn't really list it. So this is
so the
automatic.
only thing that's not done is the oil gears. It's probably one of the only things you don't need to do. I mean, there were some bikes that were kind of notorious for eating up the oil gears, plastic oil gears in the past, and there was a reason for it, and I don't remember what it was, and it wasn't the plastic gears; it was something else. And so if you installed the aluminum gears on them, which you could, and there was kits for it, all it did was transfer the force into the other part, which resulted in low oil pressure when that part actually wore out. So they don't put them in there because they're cheap. I mean, that's one of the reasons, but that's not the only reason. So I have a 350. What year was this? 21. Okay, you got a lot more years before you need to think about those metal gears. I have what year is Hezzer? 14, and I'll bet you that bike has lots of hours, like 600-700 hours on it, and it's got plastic gears in there, and it's fine. Yes, Bob.
Replaced it for 20. No, fixed it.
They
20 KTM 350s have it's different part number.
Oh, between the plastic gears.
Right.
Okay.
I don't know if they're another kind of plastic. Or
So we have Bob, who is it's Sancho's Lexus. Bob says there's an update. So there are times when they do update parts, and maybe just a lot of times it goes from one vendor to another because they can't get it, or maybe they do actually kind of beef something up because there is kind of a failure thing. But trust me, it's probably not going to be a problem. And I don't just say, I'm not a shill for these companies, unless they pay me enough. But I haven't got a check from KTM for a long time. In fact, they wanted receipts for something the other day, and I didn't have receipts. Shit, I got to do that. I took a week. Did I tell you I was camping out in the desert with 110 women for the last 10 days?
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to I have a lot of estrogen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a lot of.
Does this mean you're going to be okay
That's
with driving my car now?
It's contact estrogen.
Contact estrogen. There is such a thing. No, I'm not. I won't. They all. Matt. Yeah. Every single one of them drove a vehicle that was way more badass than you. Even the Subarus, and those have love. By the way.
Hey, I love Subarus. Those things are awesome.
Yeah, Subarus. Yeah, the car's made with love, and they make military helicopters that kill with love. I guess I've been out in the desert for too long. I think this bike has no. I don't like anything about this bike. Endo.
Yeah, I was gonna say nothing stands out about it. It's pretty...
bad picture, bad description.
Yep.
It's actually front disc guard metal.
Yep.
Right. So that's an automatic Endo, I think, in our book. But the other thing is like, it just nothing. On the oil pump gears, you are incorrect. In 23 KTM went to metal. Okay.
Oh, this is the show. Lazy
I haven't
photos.
had a chance to do anything with the 23 KTMs. So
this is my least favorite photo.
Is your least favorite photo? It's tiny in my hand, at least.
Yeah, it'll get blown up, but that's not the photo, man. That's not the photo.
There's nothing wrong with that photo other than you can't see the bike.
Yeah, I mean, what is the point? What is the point of the?
Well, I know.
This?
I mean, it's like I want to go ride there. I'm going to open that gate. I'm going to take off, and then I'm going to go. Yeah. And here's a picture of a bike, and it's like, you know, when my cat walks away from me and I snap the picture and it's just butthole.
Yes.
Well, that's what I send to George all the time. I say, Selma says hi. This is the way I feel about this photo too. But you know, he could have caught a little more of a profile. But it's probably the only photo he had of his bike when he heard us say, hey, if you submit a photo and a description of your bike to Tech Talk Taco Tuesday, you could win $100. And people just go, yeah. Oh, shoot, this is the only photo I have of my bike. It's not in my garage. Because most of these guys they're in their garage when they do it. And I understand. But if you're going to win $100, you're going to put a little effort into this, I would hope.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, if it was only a $50 gift certificate, then I don't care about the photo. But $100,
there you go.
A little effort.
Okay. This is Matthew Lynn, a 2022 Husqvarna FE350S. WP Explorer 4 cartridges, revalved and sprung shock with X-Trig sag adjustment collar, Fastway linkage guard, Husqvarna factory headlight, Enduro engineering radiator guards.
Factory headlight. I'd like to see that.
I would like to see it too.
Go ahead.
Cherubi's 4.5 gallon tank, Samco hoses, factory reservoir tank, Recluse clutch, Pro Moto billet exhaust cap, Taco tuned Get Wi-Fi ECU and map switch, Dirt Tricks front and rear sprockets, TM Design Works chain guide, Husqvarna factory racing rear disc guard, a Cherubi's front disc guard and fork lug guards, TMC fuel fittings, Takamoto accessory wiring kit, Twin Air Power Flow air filter and cage, Cycra handguards, Husky PDHS bar mount kit, Golan fuel filter, and giant loop trail rack.
Yeah, so this guy, you know, in all honesty, this guy has built his dream machine.
Oh no, this bike is awesome.
It's really awesome.
And Trail Tech Voyager too.
Voyager Pro, yeah, good. Hey, did he say that?
No, he didn't. I don't think he did.
Is it a Voyager or is it a Montana? Can you tell?
It looks like.
Can we zoom in on this horrible? So the good thing is that if you are listening to this as a podcast, you rely on our descriptions of this stuff, and you can't see these horrible photos.
We're just seeing the ass of a bike in a mountain.
Right.
We can make out like the tank and some stuff.
Yeah, you can see some things. I don't know if that's a Voyager or not. I can't tell. It looks kind of like one.
It definitely looks like one from this angle here.
Right. Yeah. Okay, we'll call it a Voyager, even though he didn't say so. Trail Tech does sponsor Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. Mm-hmm. You can get your Trail Tech Voyager Pro, and the best thing about the Voyager Pro is buddy tracking. So if you're like me and you have no buddies, it's not a big advantage. But if you do ride with your friends and they have Voyager Pros, you can see where they're at. So that is probably one of the biggest advantages. Plus, it's a motorcycle-specific GPS unit that you can check the temperature on your bike. You can you can wire it in and watch the coolant temperature. There's a tack on it if you're into like checking your RPM, all this stuff, and that data is actually logged onto your track log. So if you ever wonder about what you're doing, how hot did my bike get at the top of that hill, it'll tell you. These are Voyager Pro, and actually the old Voyager did the same thing. So it didn't have the buddy tracking though.
Right.
So
and the interface wasn't as nice.
That's good. I'm roosting it just not for the photo. I'm roosting it for the podcast people.
If they
don't get to see the photo.
If it had a better photo, it would be in contention for the win.
Right. I already know what's in contention for the win.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's two of them. There's two of them here. And the problem is here's the problem. So the two that are in contention is, of course, is Brian's bike, who's a friend, a former coach at the school, has a super clean bike, more than anybody here. No, he's got a good job now. He's not like you. He's not a poor person like you and me.
Yep.
He could probably use that. I have no idea about the snow bike guy, but the snow bike guys I hung out with, these guys were not hurting for the cash.
No.
No.
That is an expensive sport to do.
Yeah. They burn a lot of gas, and they usually have really nice, jacked up dually trucks with 4-wheel drive, and they tow a really nice trailer that you can ride in the back and out the front. And okay, so what's your pick?
Okay, so if it wasn't for the fact that I know Brian and he has helped out here before,
right?
He would be my winner,
right?
But I don't know if I can. I don't know if we can give it to him
because he put his it just on it would seem kind of stilted.
Just on the basis that
I would say yeah, okay. No, I would say, you know what? The fact that he put his helmet on the handlebars the wrong way.
Yeah.
And he knows that Climb is a sponsor of this show. He should have flipped that thing a 180.
Yeah.
That he can't win. So the guy with Snowbike wins?
Snowbike wins for me too.
Snowbike wins. Okay, good.
Yeah. For a moment I thought you had this one in contention.
Because of the hatchet.
The hatchet is cool, but it was like he already had too much stuff. This bike would be in contention if it was a better photo.
This bike, out of all the bikes, I think
that the 350,
the 350,
Husqvarna.
Yeah, the 350 that was on the trail, not in the driveway, about to be run over by a Lexus. When in that cooler, I'm not going to tell you, but there were bottles of wine, and she drank them right before she's going to go out and drive down PCH, and she's probably going to hit him before she hits the bicycle rider. It's just the way it works down there. So yeah, the Husky 350 I thought was a well set up bike, and the photo would be nice if we could see the bike, but the mountains, I want to go ride there right now. I want to go ride where Brian's bike is, and I want to ride where that guy's bike is, because it definitely looks like the mountains and stuff.
Actually, I wouldn't mind riding this bike.
The snow machine.
Yes, because it's not mine. I wouldn't want to own one.
Well, no,
They're fun to ride though.
You should when you interact with them, Matt. When you act with them about getting the getting him the Takomoto money, $100 from Takomoto.co. I'm sure that there's something he can do to get more power on that, because you need more, no matter what. Yeah. And if you get more, you're going to need more than that on a snow bike. You can probably hook up with that guy. He'll probably invite you out for a little ride.
Yeah. So Jared Stone, I believe, right? Yeah, Jared. Yeah, Jared Stone. Go ahead and reach out to me, Matt at JimmyLewisOffroad.com. We'll get you set up. So I actually have a question.
Hey, and I'll tell you, the snow bikes are ridiculously fun, especially when you get them in good conditions. And it's funny because when you watch the guys ride them, you go, oh my God, they must be the best riders in the world. And it's amazing where you can go, that just like up the side of hills and things. It's crazy. But when you don't know where the rivers and the tree wells are, then it's amazing how stuck they can get, and you better have a lot of really good friends. Yeah, because they are heavy.
Well, the same goes for like snow machines or snowmobiles, as lower 48 people call them. But yeah, I wouldn't want to get one stuck.
You call them snowmobiles in Alaska?
Snow machines.
Snow machines. Yeah, that seems like it's drifted south. Because I was corrected when I went riding snow bikes. We went with a couple guys that were, really good snow machine riders, and which is like riding a 3-wheeler. Hey,
right.
I saw a guy at Glamis that had the Super Sano Takati 250. That's the Kawasaki 3-wheeler.
Oh, really?
It was out. The sun had just started coming up, 6 o'clock in the morning, and he was out polishing this thing. He was polishing that sucker. And I was meeting with another guy because we were setting flags for the Rebel Rally, doing checkpoints and stuff. And I came back an hour and a half later. He was still polishing this thing. And so we kind of were done with what we had to do. And I kind of had to roll over to the guy just to check it out. And I said, pretty sweet Takati. And he's like, that I knew what it was kind of a shock to him. And he's like, oh, yeah. And I'm like, 80, because I noticed the airbox cover. They were distinctive back then. Because it was almost, they just cut a KX250 and built a 3-wheeler out of it. And he goes, no, 95 or 96. He told me the year. And I'm like, oh, yeah, because it looks like this. And he goes, no, I had it. And he started telling me everything about Ducatis because he knew it. And going back. And, but yeah, pretty proud of the thing. Interesting. We talked about like getting parts because of the older bikes, how do you get parts for this kind of stuff? And he had it all pretty sweetened up. But I left him with one really important thought. I said, right on, bro. I said, 3-wheeling's a good feeling. I clicked in a gear and took off. So, yeah, good times.
Nice.
You said you had a question.
I did have a question regarding these because I already know the answer. Well, I already know what you're going to say, but I have a feeling like I've heard this come up.
Okay, so since you said that,
Yeah.
here's the way this works. Since you said that, now you get to tell me my answer, but go ahead.
Okay, so like I said, this is what I think you're going to say. Because I've heard some people say you want 500 two-stroke for a snow bike. And to me, I just don't see how that would be any better than a modern, like 450, 500, 570, 690, like 4-stroke.
It wouldn't be better than everybody that was with me when we were doing this stuff, because they had they were really trying a lot of different things. And when I said, man, I really like this 690, they were like, what? It's kind of heavy. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah, but it has power. I can at least. So when you're riding, I see people put them on like 300 two-strokes.
Yeah.
They convert them. And I'm like, man, that bike it has a lot of power. But so imagine if you haven't ridden a 125, the way you ride a 125 is basically pinned and you're shifting a lot. Like the minute you it starts bogging down, you downshift, and you just wait till it hits and you shift, lots of shifting. 2 downshifts going into a turn, 3 downshifts going into a turn. This is stuff that a 450 rider or a 500 rider never ever does on the dirt. But when you're riding one of these in the snow, to me that's the way it felt. Where the 690, all of a sudden, I didn't have to shift so much. You could actually, you weren't wide open all the time. You could actually, roll it on and use the power and shift a lot less. And so the weight disadvantage, I don't even think it was that much of a disadvantage. But then again, I wasn't flipping it and pivoting on it like a lot of these guys. You watch them ride in the videos now, and trust me, you're not going to ride like the guys you see in the videos, or at least the extreme videos. You're going to be doing a lot more like trail riding, and that's what's really fun about them, is when you just find just open patches of powder, or just dodging through, wider sections of trees. And when we got in the really tight trees, the 690 killed it compared to what these guys that were bogging down and, feathering the clutch and, having to do 3 downshifts to get back out when they sunk. Yeah. And that 690, you could back off and just roll it. It was like riding my twin-cylinder rally bike in the dunes. Everybody goes, that must have been a pig. And I'm like, yeah, but I rolled the throttle on it, it got on top, and it was gone. Yeah. So there's a place for displacement and size, and sometimes weight comes along with it, and it just depends on how that stuff works. So that was my take on them. I actually probably should try to find. I'll try to find a way to go back out on some newer ones. I'd really like to. And now you hear about the guys that are, the guys that know what they're doing. They're doing nitrous injection and all this other stuff, and it'd be interesting to see how that all works out.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's see. Todd Hicks can give us a story about what estrogen he makes aftermarket ones. I don't know. What was he replying to on that?
Let's see. I think he was referring to
oil pump gears. Okay.
23 KTM with metal. I give you the entire story since he makes. Okay, so I'm assuming he's talking about the oil gear.
Yeah, send me an email, Todd. Todd or TW. I would like to learn a little bit about it because I knew the story back when it was the KTM 530s, the ones that were eating them before. And right, so he caught us metal oil pump gears. So I remember I used to know the reason on the KTM 530s why they did it and what they did, and it was kind of like you were fixing one problem to cause another. Mm-hmm. And I think some people say, yeah, for sure, it's a cost issue. It's easier to just pump out these things. And Bob's raising his hand.
The plastic gear runs at a different frequency than the metal.
Different frequencies. Yeah. So if you had, let's just say you were working on an airplane that had some gears in it that were plastic, would you replace them with metal ones? Just because? Not without a bunch of testing. Yeah. Good thing our motorcycles don't fly, because I see what a lot of people do it. So he says, and Nader Tater said, sorry, butt text. Now, how did he butt text us? Oh, he gave us a question earlier. Wow, that's good. I'm glad your butt likes my show. I'd like to talk to it sometime, but there's another account for that. Right, Matt?
Yeah, but we're gonna get someone else to start managing it. I can only handle so many things.
Right. The OnlyFans.
Yeah. Well, let's see. We've been pitching the grinder account.
Right.
The OnlyFans for your foot fetish fans.
No, but I mean, how? Okay, would it work? A motorcycle OnlyFans content where we shoot like videos for people that have motorcycle questions.
It potentially could work because OnlyFans, it actually was originally designed for premium
experts.
content. It was meant to be kind of like a version of Patreon or something. To get exclusive content for subscribing to someone. It just so happens to turn into
the damn hookers got a hold of it again.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is the reason that you remember those things called VHS tapes?
Yes.
Ever heard of ones called Betamax?
No.
Okay, so the reason you know about VHS, not Betamax, is there's one word, 4 letters, starts with a P.
Oh, porn.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, so
that made the decision between those two things, and I'm not joking about this because I've told this to people before. You look at what drives certain things on the internet. 4 letters, starts with a P.
Yeah. Well,
that's where a lot of the video streaming stuff comes from.
Mm-hmm.
That's where a lot of the and the internet will drive the price of everything down to zero.
Mm-hmm.
And this is I live in this world because we're sitting here trying to make a couple bucks on doing a podcast, a show, a live show, providing good information and stuff like that. There's 100 other people that are doing exactly what we're doing.
Yeah,
without a doubt. I don't know what their numbers are. I don't care. If someone's doing something better or different than us, I would like to learn a little bit about what it is, but it's like it's not worth it to do all the research and stuff. But the fact that stuff that starts with a P and ends with an N, it's 4 letters, it's free all over the internet, like crazy, and it's like, how do they make money? Like, how does that make money? Because I worked at the world's largest dirt bike magazine. I know how it made money. And when they started transitioning over to trying to do stuff, digitally, websites and you need to be on this, Facebook and Instagram or whatever it was at the time, MySpace. And I'm like, the question was, how are you going to make money at it? Because that platform is designed to make money, and they're going to take you and take a certain percentage of your money, and really the money you're going to make there isn't that much to begin with. How does it all do this? I mean, so I'm always kind of, I don't just look at porn for, I'm looking at it from a science perspective because you got to go to the science.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there going, how is anybody here making money?
So Jimmy, I'm pretty sure it's still ad revenue.
Ad revenue.
Like, I'm pretty sure. Horny people will pay a pretty penny if they're horny enough.
Okay. So,
I mean,
you're telling me that our viewers aren't horny. for motorcycles.
Well, they're probably horny for your 9 toes, but
No, that's the special
Grinder.
fans.
Okay. But so there was a point you made though that I wanted to get to because I just heard about this on a podcast. Is the porn industry actually?
See, this is what happens, Nate Tater, when you give us a butt text.
Yeah,
we
dude,
start
I'll
going
listen
off
to
the
this.
deep end. So keep going.
But no, this is by the way not motorcycle related at all. So the advancements in AI now. There's AI generated art now. There's AI generated like writing. Like you give it a prompt and it'll tell you a story now.
Right.
Or you give it a prompt and it'll generate you an image now. Guess what the first application for it's become? Like the wide used application.
Oh, it starts with a P?
Yeah.
4 letters?
Smut and porn and stuff like that.
Wow. No,
So-
it doesn't surprise me. Because
No, it's-
one of the podcasts I've been listening to is an AI podcast. It's about artificial intelligence. And it's kind of two guys that talk about it. One guy is on one side. He doesn't think it's going to take over and kill everybody. And the other guy knows that it's going to take over and kill everybody. And I don't know if I worded that exactly right, but
essentially Skynet from Terminator or
however, somehow, whatever. But they talk about just the fact that it's infinite, and so you think about, like, you're sitting here, you're watching this, you're listening to it, it's bits coming through a speaker, translated. It's pixels on a screen. And imagine that all it is pixels on a screen, so it doesn't have to be real.
Yeah.
And therefore, if a computer knows how to organize all those pixels, which it does, how come it can't just organize those pixels to make the reality that you want? So when you say, you know what, I don't like that Jimmy guy, I wish that so-and-so were the co-host. Well, it can pixelize the other person and put their image here very easily. And then it can go grab sound bites, figure out how it talks, and then superimpose my words into their voice and communicate it. And now you have that show.
Yeah. I wouldn't know. I don't know if I would say it can do it super easily, but it definitely can do it.
Oh, it's not there yet, but this is what's coming. And this is
I mean, just look at the deepfake technology you're seeing in movies already, and then well, you can and literally what you just said regarding the voice. They know how to rearrange it to kind of get you to say whatever you want.
I can do half of it with a voice matron.
Yeah. But
so what does this have to do with dirt bikes? Man, enjoy riding your stinking dirt bike while you can. like literally, everybody's going to drop half. All this first, the stupid people are going to just go into this AI, world, and they're just going to be you're going to need the chair that they had in Idiocracy, where you can just sit there and it feeds you and you shit out of it and you don't go anyplace. You go like this at the screen, and then unfortunately, that's going to affect us being able to ride motorcycles. I don't know exactly how yet, but when I figure it out, I'll explain it, because I'm going to try to exploit it before it happens.
Can't say I'm as pessimistic as your view on that is. I see it as this cool way to open so many more open doors to things that that it can open creative. It can make the creative process easier, but it makes some things easier, so we can start to ponder about things that that we normally.
What does this have to do with you sitting on your motorcycle and going riding?
What if it can lead to more advancements in motorcycles, like in technology and stuff like that?
It has, because of all the 3D modeling and all the And that's the early effects of it. But I feel like we're coming up to a cliff where all of a sudden it's like, why do I need a motorcycle? I can sit in my chair and I can feel like I'm riding and take a poop at the same time. And I was talking to a guy today. We were talking about, like, he had kids or something, and we were talking about, like, all the kids out running around on electric bikes, and I'm stoked to see it, but at the same time, it's like some of these parents are just so happy to have their kids outside doing something which isn't just staring at a screen, and they're letting their kids do stupid shit. And one of these kids is going to do something that's stupid, and bad shit's going to happen. It's going to make the news, and all of a sudden they're going to clip it. Electric bikes are dangerous. Just bicycles, electric, whatever. And it's just like the 60 Minutes thing on lead and motorcycles. The lead ban. Do you remember this? This is on mini bikes. They couldn't sell mini bikes to kids for a while because they could chew on the battery and they get lead poisoning. And it had a big impact, they were in this kind of thing can change something. And this is a how did we get off on this deep end?
I don't know. We got 5 more minutes to kill, so let's keep going with it.
We can kill this show right now.
Well, yeah, but
the whole thing is now some parents are just like, oh, they're outside, they're doing stuff, and they don't. It's better to have them outside doing stuff than really care about what they're doing. And I'm not a parent, so I don't really know, but like I was lucky because when I grew up, we could go ride our dirt bikes and jump our BMX bikes and all this stuff, and we didn't have to wear. I didn't wear a helmet. And I wore a helmet on the motorcycle. Had to wear it on the motorcycle, not so much on the bicycle. And there's, it's all evolving, and there's different levels, but yeah, I think once you can these fake experiences. There are gaming leagues where people are doing championships and motorcycle racing on the computers.
Yeah, for a while there, I was streaming motocross games myself.
Right,
but
how many of those people actually rode?
Almost all of them.
How much did they ride versus how much did they play? Or that was this is a good question to figure.
Well, and it depends on the personality. Like, a lot of people also were
Flying Brian 520 says, "Stop drinking beer when you wander."
Wonder.
Yeah. When I wander. Actually, same thing.
Wander, but I don't know.
So we have a real question though. Okay, let's answer a real question.
Okay, I'm decent with suspense and all.
Hey, if this conversation stimulated you, we don't have another podcast that goes deeper into this crap.
No.
But if you know how to fix the fan on the computer that makes all this horrible noise, email Matt.
Yeah.
And let him know how to fix it. Okay, so what does Gregory want to know?
Gregory Ettinger. I'm decent with suspension.
There's no way he's still on the show. He heard us talking about other crap and just clicked off, but we'll answer it anyways.
I'm getting serious fork chatter on washboards. My forks are in the upper stroke. I have no idea for any adjustments to help reduce it. Any ideas?
Yeah, Greg, I have a lot of ideas. Tell me if you're still here. Tell me what bike you're on, because if you're on like a WP suspension, it's a little bit different than what I would do on a Kayaba or a Showa suspension, for instance. So if you could help me with that bike, it would make it a lot easier to answer the question. But the first thing I'll tell you, regardless of anything else, is make sure that the air in the forks is bled, because the number one thing I see happen is a lot of guys, they don't bleed the fork in the beginning, or it has a little bit of pressure and then the forks get warm and there's more pressure in there, and that really, really, okay, there we go, FE350, we're doing WP. That makes it tough because ordinarily what you're feeling there is a low-speed compression or low-speed rebound adjustment. And on the WP, the clickers do more of a mid-speed thing, so it's harder to get out. So more so on your bike, you're going to want to play with the air pressure somehow or another. So if it's an upper part of the stroke and you feel like it's staying a little bit high, try making sure it's at zero pressure, or take a little bit of pressure out of the fork. In other words, like make it negative, modded. I don't know what the mods do. Make sure that maybe even a little bit negative pressure. See if that works. Has base valves. Okay, that's a good thing. If you have the base valve, you have a little bit more compression adjustability. So, but do what I was saying first. Play with the air pressure. So try actually, bleeding the forks, taking the screw out of the forks, and then compressing them a little bit, and then screwing the bleeder back in so it's a negative pressure, and see if that makes a little bit of a difference. If that makes it worse, then stiffen the compression up a little bit and open the rebound. So in other words, you're just trying to get it to move a little bit more. But then at that point, go back to zero air pressure and try to do that. And then the base valve, remember the base valve can only make it softer than standard. So ideally when you screw the base valve all the way in, that's standard. And then you open it up and that will make it softer, which should be more supple most of the time. But remember that the rebound on the other side of the fork has almost as much, if not more, influence on the compression than that valve does. So, how did I know that? because I've played with it before. I know about those damn washboards. So Nader Tater has a real question.
I've got a 04 300 EXC. What's your opinion on a light restoration versus selling it and buying new? It's a great bike. It just shows its age.
300 04. That's a good bike. Light restorations. Man. So I say every 4 years, KTM collectively makes a pretty significant jump in the character of the bike. Now, whether the character is, if you want to change the character for some reason, maybe read some of the reviews. And usually the character tends to be lighter feeling, a little more agile, which suffers a little bit on the stability. So if you want a little more agile, a little less stability, the newer bikes will probably make you happier. Although I remember from when they went from the 1819 to the 20, they actually kept all the stability and made the bike more agile on the two-stroke, on the 300. I know because I have a 19, and I haven't spent a ton of time on the 20 or 21 or 22 whenever they made the next change. I did spend a little bit of time, and I'm not totally sure whether I'm all on board with that handling change. Mm-hmm. Like, it's a character thing. And for some people would feel it's better, and other people would, so. Nate, hopefully that your butt text that turned our show sideways is that other answer makes up for it. Yeah. So, anyways, thanks everybody for joining. You can always support us by clicking through our Amazon and Rocky Mountain MC links. Thanks to our sponsors, Bulletproof Design, Seat Concepts, Fasst Company, Flex Handlebars. I love the Flex Handlebars. I was talking to my suspension guy today, and he said, man, you like your forks stiff. And I go, yeah, because I have Flex Handlebars on it, and they make bad forks good. So even if I set them up bad, the forks fix it. DDC, Trail Tech, Climb. Even if you put your helmet on the handlebars upside down, it costs you $100. They still make good gear. Scott Sports, Moto, Yamaha, and Matt for coming in and making the computer howl like a wind tunnel.
Just trying to make things better here.
So we will, Blake, submit that question for next week, and we will see you out on